All right, students, as we continue our beginning of the school year introductions to different topics, today we're going to look at class reading and accelerated reader as a program. Of course, like with any video or discussion we have in class, if you still have questions, please let Mr. Collins know. This obviously won't cover everything, but Mrs. Gabbard will be talking about this stuff in the library when we go to visit next week. So, class reading and accelerated reader, both as topics, are pretty simple. So, we should get through this pretty quick. When looking at how we're going through the different first unit topics so far, we're still in part one, our intro to sixth grade. And really quickly, let's review. We have 3 expectations for every class in my classroom. Number 1 is be ready for class. Number 2 is be respectful of the people around you in class. And number 3 is to be responsible with the things that you have, the assignments you're going to turn in, etc. Bringing a novel to read every day is especially important in my class. We will spend a significant amount of time reading your books, so if you don't have your book, that's not really going to work out for you. Accelerated Reader is a major part of our grade and will be something we keep up with during all of the school year. If you're new to the district, Accelerated Reader is a program that works in tandem or with the library where you read a book, you take a test over the book where you're finished on the computer, and that test translates to points. Those points you collect add up to hopefully meet the goal that's set for you each 9 weeks. We do things a little bit differently at SCMS than you probably did at elementary school if you had accelerated readers, so pay close attention. First off, at SCMS, reading ties in with homework. You don't have to be scared because it's really not that big of a deal. In my class, 90% of the homework that you have will just be reading. You're expected to read for 30 minutes, 5 days a week in my class. And that, when I mean in my class, I mean actually at home. You're expected to read for 30 minutes as homework every day. Of course, we'll be doing some reading in my class, but that doesn't really count as part of it. If you're planning your homework every day, try to plan in a block of 30 minutes of reading time that you can get done. Maybe you do the reading on the bus, or maybe you do it at homework help after school when Grizzlies Beyond the Bell starts. Whenever you get it done, just make sure that you get it done each day and try not to fall behind, or you will struggle to meet that goal at the end of every 9 weeks. So, Accelerated Reader. Every student participates in this program by reading books chosen from the library and taking tests about the books you read. Reviewing some more, participation in the program accounts for 10% of your grade in this class. It can sometimes lead to rewards from the teacher or librarian, depending on how you do. Looking at your reading goal and your reading level. You will soon take the STAR reading test. You've probably taken it before if you've been involved in Accelerated Reader. This test, along with other factors, help determine your current reading level. For example, you may read at a 6.0 reading level, meaning you are currently reading at a 6th grade reading level. Because you know that you're reading at a 6th grade reading level, you'll know to pick out certain books from the library. Those books will correspond or match with a dot color that Mrs. Gabbard will describe. Say that you're reading at a 6th grade level, you want to pick books that are close to that level. You probably don't want to be picking too many books that are at a 2nd or 3rd grade level because you're not really going to get as much from them as you would reading a book around the 6th grade level. In the other direction, if you read at a 3rd or 4th grade level, that's fine because we're going to build you up to the current grade level that you should be at. And the books that you read, you want to get around your grade level there too, because if you pick something too high, like a 6th or 7th grade level book, then you might just end up confused or bored, not really understand what's going on. You want to make sure to pick books that are around your reading level or just a little bit above it. You will receive a reading goal each 9 weeks. Your goal may be to collect, for example, 21 points, while another student may have a goal to collect 18. This is individualized to you, and meeting that goal every 9 weeks is going to help you grow as a reader, which we've discussed in class is extremely important as reading ties into every other subject area. This goal is based on your reading level, calculated assuming you're reading at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And this 30-minute homework goal is not just for 6th graders. It's expected of 7th and 8th graders too, so you're not alone in this. Now, we talked about how Accelerated Reader is worth a portion of your grade every 9 weeks. That grade's calculated using 2 methods. Number one, how will you do on your test? And number two, how close to the reading goal you get every 9 weeks. It's important to note that how well you do on the tests is a major part of that grade. I have a lot of students who think that because they've watched a movie, they can take the test over the book that movie's about. That doesn't work. Unfortunately, movies very rarely cover everything that's covered in a book, so students just end up taking those tests, failing them, and that it impacts their final grade pretty negatively. So make sure to only try to take tests over books that you've read recently, and that you feel like you have a pretty good grasp on. It's important to try to get above an 85 on those tests. And like we said earlier, books chosen should be around your reading level. You get to pick out 2 books each time we visit the library. We'll visit the library on Wednesdays every 2 weeks. So, those books that you check out when you were in the elementary school, I think you had to pick one fiction and one nonfiction book. In middle school, you're allowed to pick whatever you want to. You can pick 2 fiction books, you can pick 2 nonfiction books, what you can mix and match. We have a very, very wide selection of books in the library, and it should make it a whole lot easier for you to find something because of that. Real quick, it's important to bring up again the question of, have you met your summer reading goal? All students from the district were asked to read one book over the summer, then take a test on it. This is going to be a major part of your early grade in language arts class. So, if you've not finished your summer reading goal at this point, make sure that you're getting a book to get into as quickly as possible, because there's no extensions on that. And I will try to help you however I can. But if you don't get started reading now, you're not going to meet that goal. It's also important to note that summer reading does not apply to you if you move to the district over the summer. You'll be exempt from the grade in my class, but you will still have to pick a book and start Accelerated Reader when everybody else does when we go to the library. It'd be really unfair to make students who just moved here suddenly have to finish a book in a week and a half. But students that had the entire summer definitely don't have an excuse to get that done. Now, I also wanted to mention weekly reading again. Students in my class will read novels chosen in the library or by Mr. Collins for 20 minutes at least 3 days each week during class. You'll be reading a lot in my class, and so I want you to pick out interesting novels that you can just sit, relax, and read during that silent reading time in my class. Because we'll be doing so much reading time in my class, and because you'll be doing so much at home or on the bus or wherever for homework, you will be reading a lot this school year. And because of that, your reading level is going to go really, really high compared to where you were before this school year started. It'll be really interesting for you to see as the school year goes on, as long as you keep up with these 2 goals. Now, weekly reading continued. This just goes back over what we mentioned earlier, 30 minutes Monday to Friday. This is your primary homework in language arts. Your only other homework will consist of studying for tests or completing work you did not finish in class. It's extremely rare that I'll assign you homework that's not one of those 2 things. All right, and that covers our review of Accelerated Reader and your reading goals. Again, if you have any questions, please let Mr. Collins or Mrs. Gabbard know, and we will try our best to help you out. Thank you so much.